Welcome to What CEOs Talk About. Do you wonder what CEOs talk about behind closed doors? How they bring their vision to reality? How do they overcome and succeed through adversity? We share that and so much more with each episode. Now, let's get started with the show.
Welcome, everybody. Today, 50th episode. We have to put a warning on what CEOs talk about. So I'm the host of What CEOs Talk About, 50th anniversary. Today, I have Dominic, a good friend, and the host of two podcasts. Which ones are your podcasts?
The two podcasts, one of them's called Profit Tool Belt, and the other one's called, and you can't have a drink in your mouth when you hear this title,
Okay.
Cabinet Maker Profit System.
Okay. Those are the two ones. You were on episode 1 or 2. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think so. And you were on one of my shows, if not both.
Because you
of
got
them.
gajillion on. You got like 150, 175.
Number of episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got lots.
Okay. So fair warning. Today is 50th. So explicit. So if you're listening to the podcast
With kids in the car.
don't listen to the podcast with the kids in the house or in the car.
Yeah.
So to start, and then we got Lucas in the background. So we got the crew as well. So they've got a drink as well. So
All right.
put your drinks up.
Gentlemen, can I
Dom,
do the toast?
Please do the toast.
Okay. Here's to the storks. They bring us the beautiful babies. Now here's to the crows. They bring us the ugly babies. They bring us no babies at all. I got more toast.
Oh my
I got more toasts. And that's how we start, Marty.
Oh my goodness. This old fashions. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Shout out to Mark
sponsored.
Billard, our fishing buddy, who is not with us, but it is at the heart of our old fashioned drinking habits. So, what are we talking about? Hunting, fishing, podcast, entrepreneurial.
You know, we talk about balance.
Balance. Okay, let's talk about balance.
Yeah, because if we're talking about going hunting, going fishing, hanging out with good friends, but we work for it.
True.
And for too long, I have not had balance. So I made a conscious decision a couple of years ago to do that. It's actually why I sold the last company, because there was no balance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about you? What do you think about balance? Balance for a CEO. Go.
There has to be the right amount of ice
Yeah.
to simple syrup to the cherry to make a balanced drink. So I agree with you. There has to be multiple components in how you make your drink. And the same thing in life. Like rugby for me, I'm going to take a drink. Hold on. Put the microphone to the test. Balance of a rugby with the kids, balance of the companies that the clients that we service, balance of the company, balance of entertaining my relationship with my wife as well. We tend to focus that. So
Yeah.
friends, family, hunting, fishing. We just went once.
This year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We'll go more.
Did we go fishing?
Not enough. Not enough. But the answer is always not enough. But let me go back to balance for CEOs and for leaders.
Yeah.
We probably, I would imagine everybody listening to this is wired like us. Our default is work.
Correct.
Get up, work. Go to the bathroom, take the phone, work.
Mm-hmm.
Why? You know, and at the same time, we still need to balance with family, but you still need time for yourself, I think, to chill out, go do something for you that's not necessarily always with your family. So with you guys, I love to go out. I love being in the outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I want to be in the forest all the time. Unfortunately, that doesn't pay me because I'm not a logger. But that for me, that's balance, right? And now our boys are getting older. We can take them with us, which is kind of cool.
Yep, absolutely. Last time we went hunting, we went hunting with your dad, with Nono.
Yeah. Fun. Yeah.
There's a good balance there.
That is a good balance. Good balance. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I don't have anything. I'm waiting to answer the big, heavy questions you've got prepared for me.
Oh, well, hold on a second. The first one is, because we're rambling, we're not going in any specific direction, anything that we can talk about. So tell me, how did you handle the eggplant situation yesterday?
So this is a bit of trouble. I got myself in a bit of trouble by working too fast.
Okay.
So there, just to give everybody a background on what happened here, I sent a text to somebody that I was arranging a podcast interview with, a woman. Professional, and she unfortunately instead of the confirmation email you send, which is just 2 thumbs up, like, we're done texting back and forth, the appointment's been set and all that stuff, there's nothing else to say, just 2 thumbs up, right? Well, by accident, I hit thumbs up and eggplant. So it kind of begs the question, why the heck do I have eggplant in my most recently used icons?
Because hold on a second. Let's put some context. We have a WhatsApp channel called C-Suite Executive Fishing, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm the president.
you're the CEO.
CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Primary
I have
shareholder.
in my computer, I have or actually just not in my computer, but in my files, I have a file called Dominisms. And and I capture everything that Dom says during hunting trip, fishing trip, car trip, whatever.
It's
with our
funny
family.
stuff. Yeah.
Funny stuff. And Dom, we've allocated and we've designated Dom to be our CEO because he has, according to Dominisms, he lives so much in the future that he doesn't need back pocket on his jeans. So,
That's right. I'm a future-focused entrepreneur.
correct.
Yeah.
So
I think that's fair to say too, because
I agree. I'm the COO. Mark is the CFO. Mark owns.
what's Marty?
He's
What's our other butter Marty?
Marty lives in Alberta, Calgary. Marty, if you're watching this, you're the EA. You're the executive assistant. Okay? You get.
Well, but he comes back in the story because it was him.
Ah.
See, I went to phone him and he was too busy, so he declined it. Sorry, can't talk, call you later. And so I sent him one single image, which was the icon of an eggplant.
So you're texting eggplant to our executive assistant.
That's right. Who's a dude? Who's an entrepreneur on his own? But I want to throw him off the game because I'm sure he's in another meeting. He's going to see that and start giggling. Anyways, that's why the eggplant was in my most recently used icons. And when I went to text this poor lady who's wonderful and intelligent and smart, and I'm not going to mention any more about her, but she's awesome. She didn't deserve that. So I sent that message, one thumbs up and one friggin' eggplant. And then right away, speech to text, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Anyways, I think she understood. And I talked to her today to arrange the interview. And so, of course, I apologize first.
Of course.
'Cause it's not professional, but sure was funny. I think she had something to say, but she couldn't say it.
Because she was professional about it.
Yeah, but I'm sure she's doing the same thing with her friends right now. You wouldn't believe what this guy did. He sent me an eggplant. Now it's got me thinking. Which is what I hope happened. But, all in professionalism, yeah.
Talk to me about that wonderful hat that I don't have.
So give it up.
Dude,
So you've got all the hats.
No, I do not.
That's why you don't have this one?
Why?
This one's just for the CEO.
Oh, sorry. I'm on the
I did
low end of the totem
I
pole.
did reserve 2 hats just for me that are different than everybody else's.
Oh, good call.
So it says more on it.
Why does it say more?
It says more because I decided that, coming out of COVID and everything else that really just took the world for a spin, I was like, enough of this. This year is my year and your year. Everybody who listens to my shows, it's our year of more. More of whatever you want it to be.
Fishing.
Sure. More fishing, more family, more faith, more fitness, more money, more profits, more systems. Go ahead.
Hunting. Can you hear that, Lucas?
Yeah, more fishing and more hunting. Yeah. Unfortunately, when we go hunting, no animals are harmed.
Oh, my goodness gracious. For those people who don't know, my wife is vegan. Last name Hunter. My wife is vegan. Every time we come back with no harvested animals, and hold on a second, we follow the law. We follow.
Yeah, we're not gonna.
Yeah, we don't poach. We don't go crazy. We don't. We're out there to enjoy the day, friendships and a couple of old fashions. And Tracy's always happy that we come back without. It's been 3 years since we've harvested something.
Since you've
harvested.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It turns out when I go hunting without you, I do okay.
Okay.
So this year I got a bear, and this year I walked my 12-year-old son within about 40 yards of an elk.
And where is this elk in a
the elk
salami?
still continues to walk. The season had just closed about a week before we got there.
Gotcha.
But his eyes were bugging out of his head that I was able to get us that close to the elk.
Yeah. I want to talk about Joseph and the hunting adventure that you guys had with your cousins. Dominic, if you can't catch Dominic Rubino, that he is of Italian descent.
Dominic Rubino.
Dominic Rubino, and I always make fun. So sorry for all the Italian listeners. I say, hey, my Italian buddy.
Don't be sorry for us. We feel bad for the rest of you. Everybody wants to be Italian.
Hey, Mario, everybody, we talk about this all the time, right?
Do you have any Italian in you?
Oh, I'm not answering that question. No, thank you.
I'm too old to even use that joke.
Cultural appropriation.
I know.
Mario Luigi.
One of my cousins who married, he married in. He's not Italian. This Halloween, he's going dressed as Luigi, and it's cultural appropriation. How come we don't get mad?
Yeah.
I know. But leave that. It's another topic altogether.
And you know what I love about Mario, and the more I know you and your family, like when they associated all these mushrooms to Mario, I was like, it's quite fitting.
Oh, because of the mushroom picking that we did.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know one Italian family that doesn't go mushroom picking.
Do you know that it was maybe grade 12 when I learned the English name for a bunch of these mushrooms?
No way.
Yeah, to me, they're called garuzzeda, garineda, palombiri, chiuditi, chiudoni. I have no idea what the English names are. Then I see them in the store for $85 a pound.
We went, was it last year? I think it was last year. We went picking morels in Nona's secret spot.
Secret spot, yeah.
Don't say anybody.
We're going again this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
the bad side of fires, I know it's horrendous,
Yeah.
but there were wildfires came all throughout our region. And who was the happy guy going, oh my God,
there's mushrooms.
There's
There's
gonna
gonna
be
be mushrooms
morels
everywhere. We live in British Columbia, Vancouver, British Columbia. For those who are listening, who know that. So Mark, our fishing buddy, we gave Mark a whole bunch of morels, and he's sipping, and he texts us. He goes, guys, you know that. Thank you very much for the mushrooms. He's like, I'm frying up chicken with mushrooms, and he's like, I just realized that I've got like $250
worth of mushrooms in the pan.
in the frying pan for morels.
Well, as you know, we come out with buckets of these things. So anyways, hopefully that'll happen again this year. That's what I mean. I love to be outside. I love it. I love it. So whatever your balance is, that comes back to more. Whatever your more is. More, for everybody listening, I'll put out a challenge. What do you want more of? Do you need more time with your wife, with your kids? Like, who in your family needs more of you? Carve out some time. They're not going to say on your tombstone, he answered emails very quickly.
No,
I don't think so. That's probably not going to go on there. What they're going to say is loving husband and father, but you don't want them giggling when they order the tombstone.
That's true.
Or rolling their eyes, right? So what's it going to take you to, you're the CEO, leave on a Friday, take a Friday off. What better way to test the systems and processes in your company than not to be there? And then observe and see, what are we missing? What didn't work while I was away? But in the meantime, you got more. Maybe more time with your buddies to go catch a football game, a hockey game, or if you like to go mushroom picking, go mushroom picking.
Yeah.
Do that thing.
So what do we need to do more of? What's on your more list?
For me, definitely more time with my family. I need more time with Deidre because she's just running all the time, juggling the kids. She's basically an Uber driver. And what else do I need more of? I got a pretty balanced life right now.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I work out every day at 6. Then I go to the office. Yeah, I don't know. Right now, I'm not really craving anything. I've got, decent cash flow and
fishing,
right.
hunting.
I always need more fishing and hunting. No, I always need that. Yeah.
Tell us about Joseph's adventure with your cousins and his second cousin.
Jeez, how much do you want? So for those of you watching the video, you should know that even though you might think that I'm, loud and boisterous and stuff like that.
I don't think that.
Okay. Just, in my family, I'm the small, quiet one.
That is true. That is so
I'm the
true.
Small, quiet guy.
That is so true.
Yeah. The rest of mine look like New York rapping group or something like that from the 80s. But what was good about being on that trip is that it was just the boys, and the boys got to exchange what boys do. So every once in a while, we'd have a quiet. Well, we were hunting, right? So we were hunting during the day, and then at night we come back and we eat, and we have our pasta, and everybody. It's like a homemade capicolo contest and a homemade cheese contest, and whose wine is drinking. And you made those peppers, but I made these sopressata, and all this great, right? So during the day, Joseph every once in a while would pipe up, and my son's name is Joseph, and would say, "Hey, Dad, what are birds?" And I'm like, "Birds?" He goes, No, but you and all your cousins, you talk about birds. I'm like, "Oh, those are girls."
Yeah.
And he goes, "What's scoots?" I'm like, "Scoots means get out of here." He goes, "Oh, so when you give a bird the scoots, you're telling her to get out of here." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
He goes, "So I'm not going to say my cousin's name." He goes, "So what was that
Because
joke?"
he's a prominent business owner.
Yeah, I can't say his name. So let's say Vinny from my cousin. Vinny.
Yeah,
So,
my cousin.
I actually
Vinny.
don't have a cousin named Vinny. I've got lots of compadre named Vinny, but I don't have. So, anyways, so he goes, what did Zio Vinny mean when he said that guy's so cheap? He would
beep 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 beep.
Do I say it? Is it
Sure,
okay?
go ahead.
He's so cheap. Jesus. And so, anyways, Joseph felt as a 12-year-old boy like he was in on some sort of club, and
Fell off his chair.
fell off his chair again and again. But at the same time, you know what? He's a respectful kid. He understands he doesn't talk like that in front of his mom, in front of his sisters. And I could try to tell him not to talk like that at school, but he's on the football team, the rugby team, the lacrosse team. I'm pretty sure some of it squeaks out.
He's the stuff that we do. I think the biggest thing that the reason why I'm bringing this up is that, like, we went hunting with we went hunting with Joseph, Dom's dad, and there's a few times when you go, ooh, can you do that? Can you not do that? And really, it's not about harvesting. It's about being together,
out there, and
right?
Yeah.
And the evolution changes, right? A lot of people say, "Oh, this is what I want. That's how I want." What ultimately, a couple of things. One, the experience is better than the things. I think that's, and given the age of your trailer, you're definitely
1977. Hey,
dude,
that thing's awesome.
There's a clock. There's a clock in Dom's trailer. Is it your trailer? Or is your dad's
No, it's my trailer. It's just for hunting. That's all we use it for.
So. The
1977 Vanguard trailer.
What's the
brown
color?
and yellow?
Like, yeah. What's that?
Puce.
Puce is the color?
I don't know. It's just some gross sounding brown.
I'm trying to find a color that would.
Think of the couch on that 70s show.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. The whole thing.
It's like you step into it and you go, oh shit.
It's a hunting trailer.
That's what my grandmother used to smell like.
Oh, the smell of the trailer. Yeah, that's a bit of a mold issue. I got to take care of that.
But the clock was the door was. What amazed me was the functionality. It would still work.
It's mint. Everything's great, but I just use it for hunting.
Yeah.
So we park it at my dad's cabin, and then at hunting season we drive up there, obviously in our own vehicles, and then we hook that up, and then we drive that further north, deep into the woods, and that's home base.
Okay. So you have Deidre's your loving wife, but you have a mistress.
Jesus, no.
We're saying it live on show.
Suddenly got so hot in here.
Who's Yuki?
Oh, jeez. Okay. Friggin' hell. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? So Yuki. We're talking about Yuki the Suzuki?
Yeah, Yuki the Suzuki.
Yuki the Suzuki is my 2001 Vitara. Note, I didn't say Grand Vitara.
Because it's not.
It's not the Grand Vitara. It's a model down. It's a Vitara. It's blue.
And what do we do with it?
We I put a 3.5-inch lift kit on it. Mark Billard, this is for you. Did you see the custom bumper on that thing? Front and back. Custom. But you know what? Instead of beating up your own truck, your daily driver, for me, I don't really care about cars. Like, I don't need to drive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I used to have a Cayenne. It was great. Loved it.
Oh, I love your
What
car.
a great car to drive. But it doesn't make sense for me. It's not my lifestyle. So now I have a 4Runner. Couldn't be happier. Like, anyways, I don't want to wreck the 4Runner, so we take the Vitara off-road, and her name is Yuki the Suzuki.
Correct. And her boyfriend's Freddie.
Freddie's your car.
Freddie the Fiesta. Freddie the Fiesta, man.
I told
got
you to
a
keep
Fiesta.
that car away from mine.
When I
don't want go-karts being made.
When I sold my truck, I had an F-150, beautiful truck.
We used to go hunting in that.
Yeah, it was a lovely truck. Loved it. It did everything that I wanted to. As things progressed pre-COVID, there was a lot more activities in the downtown area, so I had to travel a little bit more. So I went to the Ford dealership, and I said to Kevin, I've known Kevin since we've moved to Vancouver, and I say, hey, Kevin, I need to have something that is somewhat new and clean, that is economical and fits in the box of my truck. So he's like, what are you talking about?
Oh, you wanted something small.
Small. I wanted it to fit in the box of the truck. So he's like, are you serious? So I went through a whole bunch of cars, and then the Ford Fiesta, out of all things. Love the Ford Fiesta. I think I paid $40 of gas for, I had about 6 months of gas. I'm just kidding. Yeah. I get in, and it's kind of the wheels on the left-hand side are more used than wheels on the right-hand side. But Freddie,
Think of a clown car.
Correct. So one time we parked Freddie right beside Yuki, and we never know what's going to happen from there on.
Yuki's been fixed because Freddie's always sniffing around. Yeah, I don't think people understand what we're talking about right now.
That's all right.
You think our cars are dating?
I
won't allow that.
You will not allow that.
I will not allow that. She's pure.
Fishing. Let's talk fishing.
Yeah. Yeah. How much fishing did you do this year?
Because I have to think about it, not enough.
Yeah.
So what did we do? Where did we go this year on our annual fishing trip? Where did we go?
You probably don't remember because I planned it.
Oh, Pemberton.
Pemberton again.
Again, you see what he said? Again.
Yeah.
Whose turn it is it to plan? This year's Marty's
the other
turn.
guy.
Marty, you listening?
Marty, EA, can you please get on that?
Yeah,
right
where
away?
are we going?
Yeah.
Where are we going?
Yeah, we got to go somewhere good. You know what? It's hard to go to a bad fishing place here where we live. This isn't heaven, but heaven's a local call. Like we're pretty close. It's nice.
Let's do a shout out to Orist. What was Orist's last name? Ozenko
Oh, yeah.
Ozenko? Did I get it right?
Once you get Orist, the guy on the West Coast with the fishing boat, you pretty much narrowed it down, I think.
What was his company's name? I can't remember. We'll have to look at
Owasco.
Owasco. Look at you.
Yeah.
Right to the boat. That poor guy, man.
No, he was awesome.
No, but I mean, he was like, we fish. Like when we go fishing,
we fish the whole time.
Yeah.
We don't not fish.
Yeah.
Except when you're cooking, you're actually pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you made crab cakes. You made prawns.
Fish tacos. Oh, I can't. A slime meal. That's the first time I've seen it. Yeah, that was gross.
That was disgusting.
That was gross. Fish tacos. Oh, I made bannock. I made donuts.
Yeah.
What else did we make? Oh, the tortillas with the lime grilled
that was
honey.
An interesting dessert. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
very good.
And who was on that trip? Just a bunch of CEOs.
One CEO, one COO, one CFO, and no, Marty was not there. The EA was not there.
He wasn't on that. Oh, he wasn't on that trip. Yeah,
he was COVID.
He was no,
Alberta.
No, I don't think so. He's
not saying COVID. Like he had COVID. COVID stopped him.
He had 10 stamps on his man card and couldn't find the hole punch.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Didn't hurt me.
Right, the boys. Right in the meat and 2 biscuits. So you shot a bear. What'd you do with it?
It's at the butcher right now.
Now what's it getting done?
So, with bears, you have to treat them properly so that you don't get trichinosis. Mm-hmm. So they're freezing it for 3 months. 2 months, sorry, is what it needs. No, I'm doing the math in my head. Yeah, because it has to freeze.
No, it wasn't in your head. It was on your lips.
And then, well, I'm doing it for the benefit of the listeners, so they know that I'm thinking, because they can't see. Well, they might if they're watching.
Look at the camera and count on your fingers.
But I'm going to have it made into all of the things that you think I would. Italian sausage, salami.
Why not? Okay. Salami,
Italian sausage, and I think the other one's smokies, like just something.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come over in the summer, we'll have bear smokies. It was 120 pounds hanging at the. It was a big bear.
Yeah.
I was very happy with it.
It was. No, the best. I mean, I think, in order of deliciousness, elk is up there. Bison,
elk's way high up there.
That salami that you had, oh my goodness. My daughter Ariel was like,
There may be more. May be more.
In the cellar?
Somewhere
in there.
In the 3 freezers I have in my home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My wife's the best. I called her once from a trip and said, buy a new freezer. Buy another freezer. She's like, okay. What'd you get? I'm like,
not even size. Then she
no, it has to be a stand-up freezer.
Okay,
Chest freezers are a waste of space. You have to get a stand-up. Because then you can get everything in there, right?
Yeah.
And see it and pull it out again.
Yeah. Agree.
Sorry.
It's all right. I want to talk about, let's keep on your cultural theme. No-No's bingo wine.
Yeah.
Talk to me about bingo
wine. It's just random. So Italian wine is, you could call it friendship wine because every year you make it and you just don't know how it's going to turn out.
Yeah.
Like it's naturally occurring yeast. It's made in the garage next to where the car's parked. It's similar to when you go to a winery, but mostly not.
No, very different.
It's very different. But the wine turns out usually great. But on the years where it doesn't, it's just a painful year. So this year, last year's wine, I can only drink it with 7-Up in it. It's just it hurts my stomach. And so I tell that to my dad, and he just gives me this, he's 83. We didn't mention he's 83. And he's
82.
He was born in 1939.
He's on what? It was from the trip that we had 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. He said he was 82.
Okay. So let me just clear something up. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I want to clear that up. He changes it all the time. Ask him what his birthday is. Is it January 1st or January 2nd? We don't know. And they don't know, which is fair because they didn't write it down.
So what is it? What do you guys celebrate?
Okay. The other thing you have to know about my dad is this. He says when he's born, he's 1.
Oh, yeah.
That's that European way of counting.
Yeah,
that when you're born, you're 1. You're not 0. You're 1 already.
Correct.
So there's a rounding error. Is he 82? Is he 83? I don't know. He's something. He's something. But I'll tell you what he is. He's fantastic. I couldn't have been blessed with a better dad.
That is pretty cool.
So,
Yeah,
but he's 83 and he's still going strong.
He was our driver on the hunting trip. Like sometimes I was like
Worried?
not worried. I was like, his eyes are open, but is he sleeping?
Yeah,
While he's driving our truck.
He gets in the zone. He does. He gets in the zone.
It was good. It was good. And he told me a few times, he's like, okay, I'm old now. I'm starting to get cold. Then he pulled out his sweater that was what? Older than me. I think that
He's been wearing that sweater for our hunting and fishing trips since I don't know.
It's older than 50 years old, that's for sure.
Yeah. The sheep that made that sweater are like, I don't even like, just think about it. It's that old. It's just gone.
It's seventh, eighth, ninth generation of those sheep.
Beyond, yeah. If a sheep lives 10 years. But he did great. You know, he called in after you left. He called in 2 moose.
That's pretty cool.
I get him to do all the calling. And look, calling a moose isn't hard. Just pretend you have a stomach ache and breathe it out. Yeah. But my dad does a really good job of it. So he called in 2. And then the one that we thought we could go after just stayed hung up in the bush. We just couldn't get it to budge. Even if we went towards it, it kind of moved away, but it didn't leave. So we never got a good visual on it. So obviously couldn't take a shot. But yeah, he does a great job. He's awesome. And he's why I love hunting, because he used to take me hunting. He used to take me fishing, and now I take you fishing and hunting.
Well, hopefully we'll take our kids fishing.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Shout out to Seek Outside, because Seek Outside are the makers of the teepee tent.
Oh.
The teepee tent that we want to buy.
Hopefully they're listening. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe.
Maybe I'm just Seek Outside. Maybe you can send us a hint.
Tester demo.
A tester demo that we can
do a review.
We can do a review and put it on the podcast as well. So.
Hey, have you had the CEO of Test Outside on this show?
Of Seek Outside?
Of Seek Outside?
No, let's get him on.
Have
there.
you invited him?
I guess I will.
No, but have you invited him?
No, but I think now I'm thinking that I might invite that person.
Yeah.
Who else should we invite?
Well, the key
Browning,
to life is asking who you want.
Browning, Tesla. What else do I want in my life? A big boat. Bayliner?
Yeah, you probably want to interview somebody that makes bamboo fly rods. Somebody that you probably want to you know who you should interview? A guy that books international hunting adventures, because all of his clients are going to be CEOs.
Ooh.
Or oil men.
This is the reason why you're here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fucking smart.
By the way, I need to cheers you.
Oh, thank you. For what?
Because the title, What CEOs Talk About.
Oh, yeah. That's right. We came up with that. We weren't even drinking at the time.
You came up with that. Not me. You came up with that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you
putting that out.
Yeah, that's nice.
When this is worth a gajillion dollars, then you can claim your 1%.
You know, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine, or a client of mine. So I'm on his board. He runs a cybersecurity company, application security and web security. So I'm on the board, and we're having one of our follow-up meetings from the board meeting this week. And we were talking about one of the strategies, which is, you know, it's hard to hire people right now. It's hard to find good people.
Shit. We should talk about that.
Yeah, we probably should, right? So we talked about the basics, like going back to meetup.com. Hopefully everybody's familiar with meetup.com.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a singles thing. Well, I guess it could be. But anyways, so I say to Farshad Abazi is the CEO of ForwardSec, which is the security company. I said, hey, did you know Ed Pereira started meetup.com? And he's like, what? And so a friend of mine from high school, Ed Pereira, who's also a cybersecurity expert, way back in the day, started meetup.com, MEET.com, meetup.com. And he sold it. He was one of the first .com sellers, but unfortunately he sold it really early and didn't get a bunch. But he moved down to Silicon Valley, I think, and worked with them for a while. Anyways, it's been sold a couple times now. The valuation's a lot more than it was at the time. But yeah, what a small world.
So where was this going?
Well, when we talk of people making things up. So Ed, right? Of people making up these names. So I came up with what CEOs talk about, which, by the way, I really do think it's a great title.
Absolutely.
How could you see that in the podcast titles and not listen?
It's true. The conversation was, what are you going to talk about? What do CEOs talk about? And you said that, and you're like,
that's the title.
That's the title.
Yeah. I mean, the joke we make, and I was just making this joke with Marty, is...
making fun of me?
No. Just
were you making fun of me? Were you making fun of me?
No, believe it or not, we weren't talking about you.
Oh, shit.
But I said, like, why would you call it something dumb like Inside the Clamshell? Right? The horn of plenty. Okay, that sounds great, but it's too much of a stretch.
I know it's not
Like,
applicable.
My job in getting you to listen to my podcast is to capture your attention fast. It's the same thing, if you've read Pat Lencioni, I think it's in Getting Naked. Is it the book Getting Naked by Patrick Lencioni?
Italians and Get Naked. I don't know.
Yeah. But he talks about setting up, when you walk into a meeting, really lay down what you need to lay down, like capture everybody's attention right up front. I actually think I have the book title wrong on that one.
I will look it up.
Well, or one of the listeners.
We'll look it up.
We'll
put it at the bottom.
But you got to walk in and set the dramatic stage right away, because your job at that point, all I'm trying to do is get the eyeballs, get people involved. So if I'm having a shareholders meeting, or if I'm having a meeting with my sales staff, and we're going to talk about changing commissions, who's ever had that conversation? That is a lousy conversation. But you have to start it by saying, our competition's eating our lunch. There is a good chance that if we don't fix things inside this company, things are going to change in a way that none of us want. And then you've got everybody in the audience going, yeah, we've noticed that too. And so we're going to have to introduce some changes. And then now I've got everybody's attention. Instead of coming up front and sending the poor CFO up there to say, in reviewing the financials, we're going to change the compensation structure. Grow some balls. Get up there yourself and say it. And say why. This is why. Anyways, what CEOs talk about is what people want to hear, right? We're changing the compensation plan. That's what people want to hear. Now I've got your attention, and now you deliver value, which clearly you're doing because you're at episode 50.
That's right.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think that generation, I don't know all of the KPIs and stuff, but what the marketing team said, that we've surpassed at the last 45th episode, like 12,000 downloads.
Nice.
Yeah, so they said, oh, that's a big deal. Is it?
That's
I
a big
don't
deal.
know. I don't know. But yeah, so actually sponsorships are actually coming in.
Oh, good.
Yeah, conversations. So it's funny because a guy asked me, he says, hey, listen, so yeah, your podcast is really cool. I'd like to be on and stuff like that. And he says, do you offer sponsorship? And how much is it? Well, speaking of being prepared for a conversation, I was like, I don't know.
I have some tips for you.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah. So I said a certain number, and he says, that's cheap. And I was like, fuck.
Well, but
fuck. Well, I could have doubled that up.
Let's talk offline, because some of your listeners might. But you have a perfect market. You see that your market is well defined. What CEOs talk about. Yeah. So we know anybody on here is a CEO, wants to be a CEO, works with CEOs. So it's a pretty well defined market. So that's why I think the title's great. It really is, regardless of the fact that I came up with it. I think it's great. What was the other thing you said we had to talk about?
There's so many things to talk about.
You just a second ago you said it. Sorry.
That's all right. Let's talk about your business model and what you're being successful at. Because you've changed, direction on Reinventing Yourself was the title of your show on episode 1 or 2. I can't remember. So first one, second one.
Yeah.
And now you're getting a lot of traction now. There's every time I talk to you, there's like another Lego brick that you're having to put in and around adding value and stuff like that. What do you 2021 new way of doing business? What's your I don't want to say necessarily struggling with, but what do you see? Yeah, let's start with the struggle. What do you, from old school selling telephone packages, was it with TELUS? Who was it with? No, not before TELUS.
I sold a lot of things. I was with Sprint selling.
Sprint, that's what it was. That's what Sprint. Yeah. So let's think about not necessarily your business in particular, but how has business changed since then to now, and what do you like, what do you dislike, what do you find is fun?
Yeah. So the challenge I have doesn't have anything to do with this business. It has to do with starting any business. And I think the hard part for all of us is keeping it simple. Dead simple, easy to understand, right? So I focus a lot on simple systems, as you know, from my podcast and the people I work with.
I should have brought your book.
Oh,
where's your book?
I should have brought the book. Are you kidding
Where's
me?
your book?
Yeah, it's right here. It's in my hand. Construction Millionaire Secrets by Dominic Rubino.
Well, take your hat off, because if they see your face,
they'll know I'm not bald.
That's the one.
Not yet. But you know what? Any business has to follow a certain format and a path. And so when you talk about what I'm struggling with right now, because I've just started a new business, I'm stuck at the top. And at the very top of the whole thing is leads. It goes leads times conversion rate equals customers.
Correct.
That's it. So I'm getting customers, but we're slightly changing the kind of customers I'm getting and the type of packages I'm putting together for them that have the right value that they care about, right? So I'm if I'm stuck anywhere, it's making sure that my lead generation and my conversion rate lines up properly to give me the right number and amount of customers who want to buy what we're selling. And then after that, it's average dollar sale, average number of transactions equals revenue minus cost of goods sold minus, you know what I mean? And then profit. So it's really basic. Don't overcomplicate business. It's hard to simplify it, but that's our job. If I'm a CEO and you're a CEO, and you know this from your background, especially with emergency and disaster preparedness, simplify it. It's easy to get caught up in all the drama. No. The drama is just decoration. Simple. Leads. My problem right now, it's not that it's a problem. I just built the system based on a certain type of lead and a certain type of business owner. There's nothing wrong with that business owner, but is it going to be the business owner for me in the next 10 years? Probably not.
Evolution, yeah.
Yeah, the evolution. So I need to start building a base of that kind of lead, that interested party that's a little bit different, because the direction I'm going in long term is still within the construction space, still business owners, but a different size and type of business owner in construction.
Different maturity level.
That makes sense?
Yeah. Absolutely. Did COVID impact your business? Positive, negative, good, bad, ugly?
Yeah, I don't know about for you, but I didn't know. Like in the beginning, I didn't know. But I've been a business coach now since the year 2000. That's 21 years, almost 22 years.
Lucas, when were you born? 94.
Jeez Louise. I have T-shirts older than that. Right, but and so I've seen the economy up and down, and you know, the need for business coaching remains the same. The questions I get posed are different. Right? So when the economy's down, I get different questions than when the economy's up. So right now, the economy is crazy, especially in construction. People are super busy in construction. When things slow down, and I don't have a magic anything, I don't know when it's going to happen, but it will, then the question's going to turn, Dom, how do we get more business? But right now, if I talk to people about increasing their sales, they don't really care. They've got too many, their sales are too much, supply chain is limited, and they can't get enough employees. So right now, getting employees or maximizing productivity or using machinery, like, you know, getting CNCs or, you know, some sort of automated machinery to run their business without the need for as many people. That's a high priority, but it'll change. It'll change.
You got a magic unicorn.
I have a magic unicorn and an eggplant. That's what I texted Marty. It all comes back.
I should have brought more.
You should have at least brought something that was pink colored so we could put it in here.
I should have brought more.
But that's okay. Tonight, you, me, and Mark are getting together, and that'll be
correct. Correct. Family man business. We talked about balance.
Yeah.
What's the struggle?
I got to tell you, you know what? This sounds weird, but COVID has been good for our family. Like, we were together for all of COVID. I couldn't be happier. It was great. So the struggle right now with family is the kids are getting older. I'm probably facing my first murder charge.
Oh, that's right. V's got a boyfriend. Yeah. V's got a boyfriend.
Yeah. Until I'm done with that, and then
I think he's Brazilian.
No. Yeah, no, he's not Brilliant.
Oh.
No, I mean, and my daughter makes, you know, this is going to sound so like right out of a book, but she makes good decisions, good choices.
Yeah.
And so seems like a decent guy.
Seems
like the jury will always be out. My team was set when I was born. My family. That's it. If you want to know what side I'm going to take, I will take my family side. So I'm always going to look out for Valencia. I'm always going to look out for JJ. I'm always going to look out for D and everybody. Like, that's just it. Done. But that's the only struggle is they're getting older. That's the only struggle. But what struggle is that? It's kind of fun.
Yeah. We have a way of dealing with that in Scotland. He got the boy, fill him with rocks and throw him on the
rocks. Yeah.
What does so Gavin is my boy. What does JJ stand for?
Well, according to us, it stands for Joseph Gerald. According to my son, he translated JJ to, I guess I say it more than I thought. It's Jesus Joseph.
You want to talk about? You want to talk about my boy
funny.
laughing and laughing. Gavin was like, "Do you know what JJ stands for? Jesus Joseph Dad." I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty accurate."
He wrote on a school project the other day, "What's the thing your parents tell you the most?" And he wrote down, "Joseph, use your head." He's got such a good sense of humor about
that
it.
kid's gonna be a comedian. That kid is going to be a comedian. What's that? What was that? That French thing he was telling me. He's like, yes, the France. No, so he was doing a French exercise, and then he said to me, he didn't know how to say 500,000 in French. So he says, La France a 500,000. We said it with a French accent. Oh, my goodness gracious. I laughed and I laughed and I laughed.
Yeah.
Gavin got in trouble this week at school because they were talking about mythical and we've been, for some reason, National Geographic, we've been reading and they're talking about the difference between Roman and Greek gods and how a same god has different names. Poseidon or Neptune. And so this, the teacher says, do you know what Pluto is? And Gavin says, he's the god of dogs. And so the teacher,
that's pretty cute though.
The teacher looked and the girl beside him, and he talked to me about it. She's like, no, you idiot. And I was like, oh, did you listen? He's like, I was laughing so hard that I didn't pay attention to what she said.
The god of dogs.
The god of dogs. I was like, oh my goodness gracious, you're gonna be in for trouble, young man.
Oh, that's good though. Hey, good for him.
Yeah.
At least he answered.
Yeah. Like balance marriage.
I don't know that apparently I'm not qualified to speak on this topic. So why would I go and record myself?
That's the answer I wanted to hear.
Apparently.
So in maybe a couple of episodes, here's something. I'm interviewing Tracy, Gavin, and Ariel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so we're in a transient location. So the podcast is going to go into a different studio. We started at one studio and that didn't work out. So, and then and now we're at a different Fountainhead recording studios, and then we're going to move to the other side, and then I'm going to have and then we're going to see. We're going to say, hey, so how does it feel to be? Yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes.
You should probably not be the host of that show to get the real truth.
Yeah, no, I want to be the host of that show because I want to control the questions. Oh. I don't control anything else.
Yeah,
because I'm the man in the house. I always have the last word. Yes, dear.
I never realized how stupid I was until I got home every day.
Tracy listens to my podcast. My wife listens to my podcast.
I don't know if Dee listens to mine.
I can't listen to
I think
mine.
she's done hearing from me. Like, she's just done.
There's no off on you, man.
No, that's true. Although at about 10:30 at night when I'm done, I just
did
start
you
to mumble
notice
and sputter.
there was did you? I hope that you noticed when we were talking. There was no breath between. Oh, hold on a second. I got to tell you guys a story. This is a funny story about Dom. Last year, Marty's not here. We're going on the West Coast. And what's it called again? Bamfield.
We're going to Bamfield.
So we've
driving to the west coast of Vancouver Island. If anybody's seen the TV show Alone, where they're stranded, they're left on the outside of this island in a rough place.
That's it.
That's where we're going.
Yeah. So we're going to Bamfield, and we've got ourselves a northern tug, and Captain Oris, who's 75, and
Oris the Wasco.
Yeah. So Captain Oris was our captain. So we're driving up there, and Dom's not allowed to have Red Bull. Dom is not allowed.
That's by myself because
the doctor says you're not allowed to have Red Bull. You'll die.
I got hospitalized. Right.
You're gonna die.
Yeah.
So Dom had a Red Bull.
Of course I did. I needed to stay awake.
And so for, I'd say, 2 hours and 20 minutes, there is no silence, and the radio wasn't on. And the radio was on, but Dom did not stop talking. And what's the game? Shoot the bird.
When the bird crosses the center line, you got a quick draw.
You got a quick draw.
And then if I shoot it before you do, then the guy next to you gets the rubber finger.
Okay.
I was winning. I'm still in the lead.
Dude, I could not beat you because when I was laughing so hard, I was crying, couldn't see the birds.
Yeah.
But Dom, for 2 hours and 15 minutes, would shoot, drive one hand, his red Toyota, because there has to be some Italian flair on the Toyota.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I didn't. Like Ferrari red, man.
Yeah, but I didn't buy it because it was red.
Oh, whatever.
No.
Yes, we did.
Sure. It's the color of tomato sauce.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
So he so for 2 hours and 15 minutes, it's just absolutely nonstop.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to have Red Bull. It's not good.
Yeah, I just could not. And it was so funny. Mark and I just laughed for 2 hours straight. It was just, well, we thought we were going to die. Well, Mark thought he was going to die in the backseat. But
he's a sensitive guy. He's got a sensitive tummy.
This is how Dom drives.
Well, because I know gravel roads. I'm always in the forest.
What's the worst thing we can do? Hit a tree or two?
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? It's funny. It was funny, right?
Damn funny. I wouldn't trade it for the
off, right?
I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, we got crab, we got prawns, we got slimed, we got
those slime eels were
horrendous.
Oh,
that blue link cod was the cat's meow. That was the biggest one.
How about all the fish we left on Orest's boat?
Filleted like 10 or 12 fish or whatever it was, and we unpacked everything, and then we left 7 pounds of flesh meat in his little fridge, and my salmon bag, my fish bag. Orest, you still have my bag? Give it back.
I don't
to
think
me.
Orest is listening.
No, I don't think so.
He is a night nymph. That guy. He came outside with what was that
dude,
thing?
his
single
tremble stick.
A tremble stick. Yeah,
it's a string with 3. So were you sleeping? I think
he came out in his underwear.
He came out with his tighty whities that were not tighty whities,
and bagged out.
And so we're kind of laying in the back of the boat, and we kind of look up, and I'm like, "What the fuck is that?"
He's playing this.
He's playing the trombone, and he walks away, and it's
a 3-string guitar or something like that. Right?
Yeah. And so Mark and I just look at each other and go, "Did you see what I saw?" I was like, "Am I sleeping?" And I look up, and there's Orest in his underwear, saggy underwear that I don't think he has changed.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's just he's a leftover hippie. That's all. And he was playing that whatever trip.
Dude, he had bananas on his boat.
I know, you're not supposed to have bananas on a boat. He doesn't care.
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't have any incident.
I wonder if your listeners, has anybody ever heard of that? You're not supposed to go on a fishing boat with bananas?
That's what we've been told.
Yeah. No bananas.
Do you guys, Alan, Lucas, have you ever heard about this thing about no bananas on a boat?
Because you got sick. No, it's old. Like it's an old... superstition.
Superstition,
yeah.
No.
You're not supposed to have bananas.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even pack them. I know when I'm going on a guided trip, don't bring bananas because the guide will rip you a new one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so
even on a freshwater boat, I don't. Like when we went to in Pemberton, no bananas.
And then all of a sudden, we're fishing on the side of the boat, and the little window opens up, and he goes, "Hey, Dom, would you like a smoothie?" I was like, "What's in it?" Banana and spinach. I was like, "Oh, wow."
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
That was a great trip. They're all great trips. All these trips are great.
Absolutely. That year I planned that trip, so it was the best out of all of those.
We'll see. Marty's got the challenge for the next one.
Where are we going? On my next trip, we're going to Indian Ocean.
So I want you to bring that up when you do your podcast with Tracy and say, "Hey, what do you think the wives will say?"
They said that they would come.
Oh, they want to come with us?
Yeah, well, they'll come, but I don't know if they'll come with us. They can go wherever they want to go.
That changes the trip.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, the boys' trip away. I'm happy to.
We can fly before then, and then.
Okay, yeah. Now the Indian Ocean's pretty big. Which country on the edges of the Indian Ocean are we going to be based out of?
Where's my phone? I can't remember where it's at.
Just ballpark it. Well, you used to live in
the South Pacific, which is different.
Yeah. Okay, so that's not on the Indian Ocean.
No, New Caledonia.
New Caledonia. How many people do you know that live? Well, you probably know a lot of them. I don't know.
350.
350 people or 350,000?
Well, 350, that I know for sure.
That's a rounding error in a small country.
And I'm dyslexic, man. I forget zeros. I don't even know how many zeros a billion has. How many?
Lots.
More than 6, 9?
It's got enough left over to shoot some hoops.
That's right.
Yeah. You lived in New Caledonia.
I did.
What is that sort of...
I like how you're transitioning. You're changing the questions from you to me.
I know. I'm not used to being the guest. I'm not even good at being the guest. Listen, somebody's going to be in charge, and it's going to be me. Okay. All right? No. Go ahead. Please, take over. You're doing a horrible job, but you go back and you keep going.
Ask the goddamn question.
I don't have any questions.
You said you were going to start New Caledonia. Are we going to argue for the next hour?
New Caledonia has been started. I was going to
Okay,
ask
so
you a
there's-
question about New Caledonia.
Please go ahead.
Your daughter was born in New Caledonia. So
Mm-hmm.
is New Caledonia has its own passport?
No, it's so
Is it a British
now.
protectorate
You know
or-
how French are
Oh,
complicate. French tend to complicate things.
Yeah.
So you have a pum, a dum, and a tum. So hold on a second. Hold
Yeah.
on. Okay. OM stands for outre-mer, overseas.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you have a pays outre-mer, which would be like Canada, which is a Commonwealth country.
Pays is country.
Pays, yeah, sorry. Okay. Then you have a département. Département would be like a state or a province.
Okay.
And then you have a territoire, territory. So
I like hearing a Scottish guy do French accent
I
because I'm pretty sure you're slaughtering the damn thing. But it's fine. It's fine. Better than
my
me.
French is good.
Yeah, it's good.
My French is good.
French is good.
My French is good. Paul Baga. That's an insult in Scotland.
Ah, okay.
So all the Scottish listeners, you'll know what I'm saying. Yeah, so Ariel is born in New Caledonia, born by the sea. When we moved back to North America, or actually not when we moved back. The first time we came back for Christmas, when she was a little bit older, there was actually snow, and she did not want to put socks. She had never put socks on before in her life.
Oh, really?
And so we're like, there's fucking snow outside. You got to put socks on. And Tracy's like, don't let her out. And I was like, I got to let her out. Don't let her out. I got to let her out. Don't let her out. So I let her out. And she stepped in the snow. Lucas, when's the first time you guys saw snow? Yeah.
Here.
Right? So
Yeah.
you were adults when you saw snow, right?
Yeah.
And how giddy were you? Were you
How
kind of like happy?
Yeah, I went to the beach at English Bay and started to play with
Yeah, of course. It's so cool, right? Yeah. Yeah.
So Ariel was like, and then she came back crying. Her feet were red. And then I got in shit for my wife, Tracy. And
Yeah, because
that's what dads do.
Yeah.
Like dads, we expose our children to risk. Right? That's
I totally agree. I'm
right?
trying to
And then we control the risks, right? We go, okay, you want to touch the stove? I'll let you close enough so that it hurts, but not enough to burn your whole face
Yeah.
off.
I'm not going to climb on it.
And then
Yeah.
your wife goes, what are you doing? I was like, I'm exposing our child to
Yeah.
risk so they're not bubble wrapped and know not to put their hand because it's pretty darn hot. Well, I've been married, 18 years now? So
Yeah.
I think
Hey,
I should be doing something. So anyways, Ariel.
born
Ariel-
in New Caledonia.
Born
First
in New
trip.
Caledonia, first trip in Canada, snow in the feet, and it was you think that the South Pacific it's grand and everything like that, right? And I'm not much, and Tracy and I were never like huge Starbucks fan or but at a certain point, New Caledonia is an amazing. Noumea, which is the capital, is like the Paris of the South Pacific.
Mm.
Like you can eat so well over there; it's well established. But there was no Starbucks.
Right.
But because there was no Starbucks, it became a thing that you wanted because there was no Starbucks.
Oh, I see. The same
So
as if it was
It was like
whatever.
island fever, right?
Yeah.
I'm on the island. It's absolutely gorgeous, but you're like kind of like
You feel like you're missing something.
you're missing something. And it was good because we're 2 hours away from Auckland, 2 hours, an hour and 15 minutes away from Brisbane, Australia.
Hmm. Oh, not far.
Yeah. And kind of in between. So for those people who don't know where New Caledonia is, it's not in Ontario. Okay, there is a New Caledonia, Ontario.
Oh, geez. I was like, where the heck are you going with that?
Yeah, so if you make a line between Brisbane and Fiji, and you put a line in the middle, there's New Caledonia. It has 20% of the world's nickel deposit. So that's why it's so...
Oh, it's a big deal.
Yeah, mining is big. When we were there, Vale, Brazilian company, the project ran up to like $6.1 billion. It's a massive...
Just on the island. Just
Yeah.
in-
And now the Goro Nickel, their number one client is Tesla because of copper and cobalt.
What else? When you find nickel, what else is found with it? Is it-
Cobalt.
Oh, cobalt.
Yeah.
What do you use cobalt for?
A whole bunch of
Sunglasses.
it-
Isn't that
well,
like
they-
coating on sunglasses? or
well,
something?
there's so many components that use different aspects of cobalt in very small amounts. Yeah, so it's pretty. And same thing in Quebec. There was a niobium mine, and niobium is added to steel to make the compound harder and lighter as well. So it's used in bridges and
Okay.
cars. So mining is
Yeah,
that
apparently
took me-
that's driving a lot now. Is the little ingredients but the amount of mining that has to happen to pull out that tiny little ingredient that makes our cell phones, or I don't know.
Well, I mean, what people don't understand is that all the minerals, like gold, for example, was there's you can't create gold, and gold was created when the Earth was created. So I don't know, when was Earth created? A gajillion billion years ago, and so though it was created then
Yeah.
from space clouds, and the compression of helium and all that good stuff. So that means that there's no more gold than what there currently is.
So that's it. It's
That's
a
it.
finite resource.
Correct. Yeah. So there's only that amount of gold, and you have to find it, and you have to do it. But other like bauxite for aluminum is a surface mining. So you basically scoop it up.
Like strip mining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's in Australia, isn't it? Bauxite. Yeah.
well, it's Western Australia.
So all of those things go in. I'll bet you some of the listeners already deal in mining or those micro additives to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
know.
I always have a giggle because, some of these very environmental activists, and I'm not against. I love my planet, and I don't want to mess it up. There is always a price to pay for something, right? So you want to have cell phones, you want to have this, you want to,
Yeah.
and I find it a little bit kind of two-faced when they say, well, we want to save the planet, but you want to be living off a beach in, Thailand. Well, the fuel that you use to get on the plane to be a jet setter is 1,000 times worse than the biggest, truck that you can find. Not that I have a big truck, but it's putting things in perspective, right? So every time that you buy something from Amazon, it has to get here somehow, from wherever it was made.
And somebody's got to deliver it.
And it's either on a plane or on a boat. And you want to talk about fuel consumptions and bitumen and jet fuel. I mean, that's what it is. So
yeah, it's a complex question, and we are wrecking the planet, and it ain't good.
Mm.
So any of you out there who are doing good work to save the planet, leave a comment, say something. Do you want people to leave comments on the show?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw something on LinkedIn that was really cool. It was
squirrel. Is it a squirrel?
This spot here. No, Spot's my dog. They were putting triage facilities, recycling triage facilities on boats. So they're using drag nets to scoop up all all the plastic in the Pacific,
dump,
and they're putting it on the boat, and they're triaging everything on the boat, and then either helicoptering it out or bring it back, and then they're cleaning up and reusing, recycling all of the plastic that's in the ocean.
Have you had Michael Katz on here from
No.
Plastic Bank? Because that's what they do.
Oh yeah, we met him when we were doing that
David
thing.
Katz. David Katz. I'm sorry, David. And I know he's got a partner. His partner might do more of the media, but he has Plastic Bank. So he's set up recycling centers in underdeveloped countries where, and this is what I understand the model is. I might be wrong, but people in those countries will gather plastic together and
get paid for it.
And then they get paid for it, but they get paid in charcoal.
Oh,
So the charcoal
something useful
is
for
made.
them.
It's a biofuel, so it's made from already waste product. But instead of working all day just to get a few dollars to buy the charcoal, they're missing that whole step, and they're gathering plastic. Because you've probably gone to countries where there's plastic bottles everywhere.
Oh, dude.
No recycling in place.
Tahiti was you get off, and everybody thinks of Tahiti as like, oh my god, and then you get off, and there's packs of wild dogs. First of all, don't ever go in the night, because there's pack of wild dogs that are fearless, absolutely fearless,
Oh, wow.
like 30 dogs. And then you look, and I mean, what the culture is, when you live on an island for so many years, you take a banana leaf off or whatever you use to make your weave basket. You throw your weave basket, doesn't matter, biodegrades.
Yeah.
But they apply that same principle of just throwing everything over the shoulder, but now it's plastic.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So even in New Caledonia,
It doesn't work with the new types of materials that we've introduced against
the
that
local
culture.
people, the Melanesian people, were the worst. And you can't really blame them, but it's just how but the guys on my crew, they drink a bottle of plastic, like drink a bottle of Coke, and they just throw it. And I was like, the fuck you doing? Pick it up. Like, but then you realize that they've never faced that. They have the culture is so different than what we're used to, because we have seasons, right? Most Western-based countries have seasons. So you work in the summer so that in the winter you don't have if you don't have any resources, you've stockpiled your resources to be able to survive the
Yeah.
winter. When you're living close to the equator, you're hungry.
Go
Take
get
your
a
spear,
breadfruit.
yeah,
Yep.
spear of fish, eat a fish. It's done. Oh, some lychee nuts are in season. Let's have lychee nuts off the tree. Oh, you know what? I got a couple of chickens. Oh, so it's very different in the mentality of there's not enough foresight. And we say, oh, they're lazy. They're not lazy.
No,
It's
it's
just
just their
their-
culture is
Yeah.
aligned to a different set of values and environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I was working for a company in South America, there was a bank just north of Brazil that had been in construction for 6 years.
They'd been building the bank for 6 years.
And there was still a concrete frame.
Oh,
There's
with
and
rebar
then-
sticking
and
out.
every time we drove by, people were sitting, like construction workers, just sitting. And you're like, and then you drive by the next day, and you're like, and then a month later you go,
Why is it? Yeah. It
and you're
hasn't
like,
changed.
no, oh yeah, the 2x4 wasn't there; it was there before.
And so, what's the reason for that? Why is it moving
And there's
along
just
so slow?
they've just have a different perspective on what's important and what work is.
Yeah.
I mean, the security guards in New Caledonia that I was responsible for, on a 5-day shift, we'd have to give a bonus for the 5th day because they'd work just enough to make money to buy a case of beer and extra flip-flops for their kids. Because what do you need when you live in the South Pacific?
Yeah.
You need a pair of shorts, 2 T-shirts. I mean, you guys are Brazilian. You don't need as much to live in Brazil as you do in Canada, right? You need to have a jacket. You need to have this. You need to have that, right? So in warmer conditions. So, yeah. So it's just a different
It's
mindset.
just a different way of looking at it. Yeah.
And then you go like, you guys have to show up for 5 days. You know your shift is 5 days long, right? Or what really I found the best was, I had security guards, and I mean I was responsible for all health, safety, and security, and all the stuff that was attached to it with operational needs. And so on one side of the fence, on one day, you'd have the guys work at security. And then we'd have guys throwing rocks at the organization saying, oh, you're pilfering our land and you're, right? So we had permits and all that good stuff. But the people would say, it's a UNESCO site. You're doing this, you're doing that. And then one day I'm driving back and I look at one of the demonstrators throwing rocks at us. And I'm like,
It's one of your guys.
fuck, you're one of my security guys.
Oh.
And I can't remember his name for the life of me, but I'll say Lewis, right?
Yeah.
I say, Lewis, what are you doing? He's like, it's my day off. Yeah, I know it's your day off. What are you doing? Well, it's not right what we're doing. I was like, do you know that when you're on the other side of the fence, I'm paying your salary to feed your family? Yeah, but it's wrong what we're doing. Well, if the mine wasn't there, wouldn't have a job. Yeah, but it's different. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave
No,
it there.
it's because we come from a different perspective, right?
Yeah.
Arguably, our perspective's the one that's wrecking the planet, anyways. So you've played rugby for a long time and at a pretty high level.
Correct.
So you're going to coach this rugby team. You've never met them before.
Okay.
You're in the parking lot and you see them out there on the field already.
Okay.
What are they telling you with their body position and their actions that before you even walk up gives you some sense or indication as a person who each of them are? What are you looking at?
I'm looking how close or collaborative they are in talking to each other. Who's within the group and who's without the group? Who is starting to stretch? What kind of bag did they have? Are they dressed well? Or are they not dressed well? Who's raggedy? Who's not raggedy?
So hold on a second. Raggedy, then now we're talking about income. So what does raggedy mean versus not raggedy?
So let's say is the person dressed for the occasion appropriately? Right? So is the person dressed to do their job appropriately? Not, what I mean is like, if you're working in a mill and you come in with a suit, is that appropriate?
Right.
It might be high end, but that's not really appropriate. All right. And so if you come in and you're going to a gala and you're wearing shorts and a t-shirt, a tie-dye t-shirt, that's not appropriate. And I'm not saying that it's better or not.
So you don't care if somebody's got a ripped t-shirt.
No.
But just are they wearing
the appropriate, right?
the right shorts,
Correct.
They've got cleats on.
Correct.
Yeah.
They've got gum shields. They've got, right? So in rugby, you do line out.
We call those mouth guards.
Gum shields.
Yeah.
It's like boots. So when you're doing line outs, you have to lift your partner by the shorts, right? So if the guy's wearing just little cottony
Nylon
shorts and you're
yeah.
like, dude, like you're not.
There's a reason rugby uniforms look the way they do. Like they're
Correct.
made of sails. Like it's such strong material
Correct.
because it's getting yanked on and pulled. And yeah, you're right. In a line out, they're lifting that guy up by his pockets.
Correct.
Really. Yeah.
Well, it's the front of the quads.
Yeah.
And when you grab, you stick your thumbs on either side of the short so you don't wedgie the guy because that's not very comfortable. I mean, I'm 5'8" at the most.
Yeah.
And when you're lifting guys that are
I've
jumping,
had the second row change my voice by a couple octaves. Hang on, guys! You lifted me off the ground.
you're squeezing the wrong thing. You're
Yeah,
squeezing the wrong thing. So that's how you do it. Yeah. So that's what I look for. I apply the same principles in working in coming into any manufacturing or team around the table. Are you dressed appropriately?
Yeah. And then when you walk into an office and you haven't met the team before, what are you looking at for body language, how they carry themselves, what you see in an office? What are the nonverbal clues you look for?
So I always go kind of top down. So where's their head at? What kind of equipment did they bring? Are they note takers? Are they left-handed, right-handed?
You look at that?
Oh, absolutely. Left-handed people tend to be more creative than right-handed people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk to my dad about being left-handed.
I'm left-handed.
Cornuto. You know what that means?
Wrong side.
The devil has taken you if you're left-handed. Is it the same in Brazil if you're left-handed? Yeah. It's not good, right?
Yeah, it's just not common at all.
Yeah. They don't enforce it or endorse it. Yeah, I'm not arguing. My sister started out left-handed and it was not good.
Oh yeah. Well, we were the first generation, or the last generation of, hey, you're left-handed, you're
Yeah. Something wrong with you.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
do you remember when we went to the gravel pit and we had that little 22 rifle and we put a balloon way up high, and nobody could shoot it and I shot it? It's because I was left-handed. Just teasing. I'm just a better shot. That's it.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
But who's counting?
Nobody else remembers that balloon, but if it helps you sleep better at night, it's good. It's good.
All right. So that's what I look for. I look for what's the intent if we start the meeting. Are they intent? How do they put their phone? Do they put in their phone up or down or in the pocket around the side? Will dictate the attention that they have.
Yeah. What's your thought on bringing cell phones into meetings and checking them during our meeting?
I do not. So
what if I was doing that though? Like I'm in a meeting and I'm one of your team and I'm checking the phone.
Am I the leader?
Yeah, you're the leader and I'm one of the guys on the team.
Okay, so
and I'm continually
let's
checking
role
my
play
phone.
for a little bit.
Sure.
Hey, so Dom, what's up?
So am I the guy now
Yeah,
texting?
you are. Yeah.
We got this big marketing thing going out and I have to get back to the printers.
Okay. So is that more important than this meeting here right now?
Yeah, because we need to get the marketing thing out.
Okay. So then sure, you can be dismissed.
Good. So that's how you deal with it right on the spot.
Oh, right there. And my nickname at two of the companies that I help lead and manage is Thanos.
Because your chin looks like a scrotum? Why?
Not at all. I got Thanos fingers. No, Thanos. Click your fingers. Evil.
I am inevitable.
I am inevitable.
I got to change the subject. So I'm driving with JJ on this hunting trip. And as you know, getting to the hunting area, it takes time. It takes hours to get there. So he's asking me a little bit about girls, but not a lot because he doesn't want to talk about it. I'm like, dude, it's all confidence. I said, one day when you go, if nightclubs ever come back, you're going to be in a nightclub with your buddies and they're going to be standing around going, I wish we could talk to girls. The key is go talk to girls.
Correct.
And then what your buddies will say, but I don't know what to say. I'm like, say, you give your buddies themes. Okay, give them themes. So you say, here's the rules for tonight. You're all going to talk to girls, but the key is you have to give them a rule of something they have to say within the first 10 seconds of meeting a girl, right? So famous lines from famous movies. I'm older, so one of the challenges I put to my buddies is things Fonzie would say. You have to say it in the first 10 seconds in front of a girl. And so I said, Joseph, for you, it's something from a Marvel movie. He's like, well, I don't know. What do you say? I said, you walk up to a girl and you say, I am inevitable. Which is Thanos. And then he just shook his head. We changed the subject. But there you go. You're Thanos.
Snap your fingers, make half the world disappear.
Yeah.
So no, there's 10 reasons. He loves nature. He's a father. Laser focused. So anyways, we were just having a giggle and they went through his 10 rules and they said, oh, we work for Thanos. And I was like, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
Yeah.
Anyways.
I know that I got to have rules. I don't know what the rules are for anybody's company except for my own. And once those rules, that
Speaking of
was very
phones.
subtle. Very subtle turning off your
My
phone.
phone
like
was
that.
ringing. Bang!
On the
Throw it
table.
out.
Yeah. But there has to be rules. And if one of the rules is no cell phone in the meetings, it's fine if somebody's, waiting, there's a family emergency or their wife's in the
Yeah.
hospital or, I'm thinking having a baby. Like something like that is fine. But otherwise, when we're in a meeting, we're in a meeting. And
Yeah.
meetings are for making decisions and they're very time bounded. And I don't want you on your phone because otherwise you're wasting everybody's time.
Yeah, no, I'm,
Yeah.
and I always ask, and I say, is there anybody have any emergencies before big meetings? And they say, yeah, you know what, my daughter's not feeling too well. I say, okay, great.
Now we
check,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
check in. If your phone rings, then we know what it's about, right?
Yeah. I've had clients because I, like you, I work with the owners,
Mhm.
right? And there was one set of clients I started. It's a partnership, two partners, right? And when I worked with them, the very first meeting we had, people were coming into the office every minute. The phone was going off every second. And so finally, when there was a break in the action, I'm like, this has got to stop. Stop the insanity.
Yeah.
And these guys are very strong-willed construction guys who have no idea how to whisper. Like they're not shy people.
Do I know these people?
You
I
might,
know.
but don't say the
think
names,
I know.
please. It's confidential. So I'm like, that's enough. In our meetings, when you're meeting with me, it's entrepreneur time, 100%. And there are no cell phones. It's done.
I agree.
And they both kind of went like, holy fuck, who the hell is this guy to walk into our office and say no more cell phones? But you know what? Now, 5 years later, with the same clients.
Still 5 years. Wow.
Yeah, 5 years later with the same clients, we don't get interrupted during the meetings. I mean, if there's an emergency, yeah, I get it, but it's rare. It's not. It used to be constant. And how can these poor guys run a company when they were getting interrupted every single second for every question?
Oh no! I same thing with Slack. I turn my Slack off when I'm having a Zoom meeting. Same thing with emails.
So here's a question for you: how many platforms can I communicate with you on? Let's list them. Slack.
Text,
So text, okay.
email,
Email.
Monday.com,
Monday.com as well. So we're at 4.
Bamboo.com.
Bamboo.
Oh, BambooHR.com.
Yeah.
What else?
WhatsApp
WhatsApp.
is 6. What about Facebook Messenger?
I don't have Facebook.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't have Instagram. LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. That's right. LinkedIn messaging. 7.
Trying to think.
Apparently, some people still leave voicemails.
I was gonna say phones. Yeah, phones.
Yeah, cell phone. But they can still get you. That's 7 different channels you have to check. What else?
That's it.
I bet you there's another one we're just not thinking of.
Mm.
So, how much busier has life gotten for everybody? But this show's for CEOs, and you and I. That's what we do. So, imagine how frantic the life is. How do I know to check my LinkedIn for a message from you? Like we've got to move people to one channel, or have our EA or our VA amalgamate everything, or have an app that just pushes it all to one thing. I can't keep up with somebody that sent me a Facebook Messenger. I mean, now people say, "Oh, we invited you to that party on Facebook." I'm like, "Yeah, no, that's not how it works."
Do you remember this? For those people who are listening.
Are you imitating an old phone?
Hello? Oh shit. So we're at this store, and it's like a antique store, and Gavin and Ariel see this rotary phone, and so they're like, "Oh, what's that?" I said, "That's what Mom and Dad used to phone with."
Yeah.
So they said, "How does it work?" I said, "I'm not going to tell you. You got to figure it out."
Oh, that's fun.
Right? So they pick it up, but there's no tone to it, right? So it's hard to. So they're like, "Where's that button for?" So they're pushing the button, and Ariel gets it first, and she goes.
She knows that you've got to spin the.
So she gets it first. She's like, "You got to spin it," and then Gavin goes, "Oh, you have to put the numbers in," and I was like, "Okay," and then the funniest thing is like, wow, this takes forever to come back.
Yeah. Could you? I was just thinking. Imagine dialing 911. You've got an emergency. You're like 9. Tick, 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 tick. I'd be like, fuck, he's gonna die. 1.
and then Gavin, he says, "Oh, I messed up the last one. What do I do?" You had to start all
Hang up and go back
all over again.
Yeah.
And then we turned the corner, and there's this wall phone, rotary phone again, but it's got a long cord.
Yeah.
And Tracy says, "Well, that was your Wi-Fi back then."
The longer the cord, the
you had to walk around.
Yeah. Twist the thing up.
Yeah. And you know what? We letters, like I had forgotten that there's actually snail mail, like mail, real paper mail. You used to send letters and say, "Hey, this is what we want to do," and send, and then couriers, and then faxes.
I used to run one of my jobs. I worked in a law firm. I was the guy that ran the fax machine.
Oh my God!
I was a courier and fax clerk.
And you still got eyes? I would have.
I know. Well, do you
my eyes.
remember the TV show L.A. Law?
Kinda.
I was Benny. I was the special needs guy in the copy room. That was my job. I was so bad. I was just a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. I was excited that I got to wear a suit to work. But one day, one of the what do you call them? Assistants came in. The legal assistants came in, and she goes, "Your tie's wrong." And I had it so that the back of my tie was longer than the front of my tie. And she goes, "You got to fix that, kid." I had feathered hair, and I think he was probably wearing high tops with my suit. It was bad.
Oh my!
It was so bad. Hard 80s too. It was like 87 or 88 or something like that.
Lucas wasn't born. Alan, when were you born? Were you? 94.
Yeah.
94. What was I doing in 94?
I was working in a law firm, faxing.
94. Yeah, 94. That's 3 years in the Army. No, 4 years. 5. Yeah, 5 years in the Army.
Yeah, I never would have made it in the Army. I'm really not good at taking orders.
I know that.
Yeah. No, I was lifeguarding and working at a law firm.
Oh, wow.
On off. And then I was a bartender as well. It was a pretty good life. And then trying to start companies. Do you know what my first company was?
Wait. Was I paying attention? No, I wasn't.
Ouch. I installed Christmas lights on people's houses.
Oh, that's right.
It was called the Yo Ho Ho Light Club.
I remember. Oh, there's another story attached to that, but I'm not going to go talk about it after. It was a painting job.
Yeah, Ladderman.
Yeah, and then somebody had hired you to paint a very special house.
I think we can say it now because it's legal.
Yeah,
I was a kid at the time.
Yeah, go ahead.
But so confidentiality and discretion are things people recognize, I guess.
Yeah.
And so because I was painting houses, I got tapped on the shoulder and somebody said, "Do you want to fix this basement suite?" I'm like, "What's wrong with it?" They're like, "Just answer yes or no. Do you want to fix it?" I'm like, "Okay." They're like, "Well, we're going to lock you in there with all the supplies and you can come out when it's done." Well, it was a grow up. So they would rent these houses and run these grow ops for marijuana grow op in these basements.
Yeah.
And when they had to move out, so they get their damage deposit back, I was the guy they would send in. But I would get sent in. I cannot leave.
Yeah.
They would bring me food. They would bring me all my supplies. And I would have to renovate this basement suite in a weekend. No matter what. Had to be done in a weekend.
Nice.
Yeah. It was good money. But I couldn't leave. I slept there. I just did the work. And I was a kid. I didn't know. And I knew the guy.
Yeah.
You always know the guy. And the guy I trusted with my life. So it's fine. Everything was good. But yeah.
The paint fumes, that explains so much now.
Paint, drywall. I'm like, the drywall mud's not drying. I had it down. Like, I got to do the drywall first, fix what I had to so it would dry in time so I can go back and do primer and paint. And yeah, and I was worried about over ordering supplies. And they were like, "Yeah, we don't worry about that. Just order what you need, buddy. We're not making trips. You're a hassle already. We're barely bringing you food." I'm like, "Come on. Feed me.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. But those are the things you do when you're 20, 21, and you think it's, anyways, fun.
What did you celebrate on your 50th episode? I can't remember.
I think we did it on my 100th, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, on my 100th. I celebrated my listeners. I interviewed my listeners. So what I did is I put a call out to all of my listeners, and I said, "Hey, I'll do free coaching. So as long as you're willing to have a discussion that we can record, let's give value back to everybody who's listening." So I did a couple of interviews live on there. So I've done that now for 2 episodes when I had 100. I guess I don't know what I'll do at 200. I'll probably ask my listeners what they want to do again.
You did an episode back then, right after your TED Talk?
Yeah, well, so I did an interview on somebody else's podcast.
Oh, okay.
And it was a float chamber store or whatever you call it, like a float spa.
Oh, yeah.
So it was super humid. They were great guys, really interesting guys, but it was super humid in there, and they had a glass table. So they were like, "Okay, don't ever move. Don't move during the show." So you just sat there like this because the buttons on your shirt would
tick.
And everything was I know why they had a glass table because everything else would mold in there.
Oh, yeah.
Rot. So, but yeah, and then the microphones were those blue snowballs in front of everybody, and yeah, it was just interesting. You couldn't move. Don't move. We can hear your chair squeaking. Don't move. You're rubbing the table. Don't move. The cord's making a scratching sound. I'm like, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
It's been a journey. Like for me, the podcast, when I first started the podcast and really ensuring that.
Sorry.
You're okay. It's just the journey of having the podcast it didn't take me the place that I thought it was going to take me.
Oh, where did you think it was going to take you?
I really don't know. I started talking to people, and it was just kind of fun at first, and now it's becoming consistent in interviewing people of how important that human relationship is. And it's the podcast has I've been able to connect with people that I would never have connected with.
For sure. Yeah.
And the only people that I would have connected with was on a plane from Dallas to Vancouver, or from LA to Chicago, or anything like that, where you're sitting and you're having this deep conversation. What I like about the podcast is that, I mean, the way that I do it is I'm open and I truly care about my guest, and and that's the feedback that I've been getting. You know, I've done this 49 times now. Well, 48 because I won't count you as twice. So, the feedback that I've been getting is that the authenticity of truly listening and not having scripted, like, because I've been on a few podcasts on the other hand where there's
it's horrible.
Oh my goodness gracious! It's like, what's your one thing that you like? What's the one thing you don't like? Tell us about your journey and that. Truly and honestly listening, and I just brought you.
Just knocked the mic. Drop the mic.
I'm not that tall. I don't know how my feet.
We're okay.
So it's been a fun journey, and now that there's commercialization of my questions, and so I analyzed it to bring it back to, peeling back the onion. What's that? The real center is that the questions that I bring is people value those questions. And so it's that commercialization of my ability to ask questions that has made me successful in my business as well. Because my core values are ignite curiosity, or the brand promises are ignite your curiosity, crystallize your thinking, concentrate your actions, right? And so that curiousness has really brought me to a place where, now we've approached this amount of listeners. There's serious consideration of sponsorship, so which is really cool.
Yeah.
So, what's your take on your podcast? What have you learned from your journey as a podcaster?
It's a lot of work.
Oh fuck yeah!
It sounds fun,
but it is fun. It is fun.
I mean, it is fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
I really do get to meet interesting people. And most of my guests don't think they have a story to tell.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, why do you want to talk to me? I'm like, because you got a great story. And they're like, I don't think we have a great story. And my point is, we'll find a great story. But my audience doesn't need great stories. They need real stories.
Yeah.
They don't. True. So, think about it, because I specialize in construction, contracting and construction. So for most of the people in my audience, man or woman, they wake up in the morning, they get in their vehicle, probably a truck, and they drive to the office or the shop or the job site. They do whatever they do. They get back in the car and they drive home. And that's their whole life.
Yeah.
And not that it's a hamster wheel, but they don't get perspective.
Yeah.
They don't get to talk to other people.
Yeah.
So when I have somebody on who says, I just kind of have a boring story about how I started and what I do, I'm like, that's a great story to somebody else who thinks they have a boring story, but it's the same story. And the struggles you had are the same struggles they have. And they can now see, I hope, oh, okay, if I change this little thing, I'll get this bigger result. If I change this, because people always think, when you see testimonials online, or you hear of a friend who's like, oh, this guy changed, he stopped eating bread and he lost 37 pounds right away. And I can never do that. You're like, well, if you stopped eating bread and ice cream and all those things, and you just had the same discipline as that guy, you could. And so when you see a testimonial online, like before I met Dom, we were losing $30,000 a year. This year we made $700,000 in profit. Okay. All the guy did was apply himself.
Yeah.
Right. Looked outside of get in the car, go to the office, do my work, come home. Because you have to have a bigger perspective. So for most of the people I talk to, they never thought they'd be a great guest. And it's probably the same for you. They're like, oh, I'm just running this company, doing whatever I do. Who would want to hear from me? But that's who we need to hear from. Real stuff, not Hollywood fake scripted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing that has come up of late is now, I interviewed you and I asked for 2 reference, right? And then they told 2 friends and they told 2 friends, and kind of always, now it's the opposite. Now I've got people reaching out to me.
I want to be on the show.
And we've got some heavy hitters, and they go, I want to be on the show. And it's funny because they're asking me, it's like, is there any cost attached to it? And I was like,
Should there be?
Should there be? Do you want to pay something? You want to buy me a beer?
Yeah.
So it's a bit different in that there is a market for commercializing your ability to entertain, and so
There is. I mean, I don't know if on your show, do you want somebody coming on here trying to pound a gold stock? Like, I'm the CEO of this gold company. It's the best thing ever. And, you know, that's not what my audience
keeping
doesn't
it real.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But it depends on what your audience wants. Again, it really comes down to the audience. So
Yeah. So, thank you very much for being on the show, Dom.
Are you kidding? I'm so excited about it.
We go on for hours and hours and hours, and because we don't want to keep you from your kids, because you should not be listening to this episode. Well, if you did,
Walk
then
your dog. Your dog is going to go for a nice long walk.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So thank you very much for being on the show.
Thanks,
it was
bud. I hope to come back.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thanks, bud. Cheers.
Cheers. Last one.
Sláinte.
Well, more sláinte.
Sláinte.
My name is Martin Hunter. I'm the host of What CEOs Talk About. Dom, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Lucas. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to What CEOs Talk About. Make sure to click subscribe to get notified about future episodes, or check us out at www.whatceostalkabout.com.